Hello and welcome. You're locked into Voorhees Tiger Vision. I'm your host, Madre Allen. We're here. I normally say that I'm here with the coach, but we're here with the coaches. I've got head coach Cabral Huff and the assistant for our Voorhees Tigers basketball, Coach James Williams. Fellas, welcome. And how are you?
Doing great, man. Doing great. Another day to get better.
Yeah,
1% better today than we were yesterday.
definitely doing well. I'm glad to be here.
As we continue to stack small wins. Guys, one thing I want to start this off with, couldn't possibly let this go by without this starting our news. I can't say that this is a small win, a pretty huge victory for Voorhees, as Voorhees College is now Voorhees University. Fellas, congratulations, number one. But tell us your thoughts and any expressions from campus or feeling from campus that Voorhees College is now Voorhees University.
Jay, I'll let you start it off.
Man, it's been pretty exciting around here. I think the biggest thing is being able to add a graduate study program to a university that was already to a college that was already progressing. We added the education program aspect to the grad school, which we partnered with the University of South Carolina, so to advocate for more teachers in the state of South Carolina. So it's a huge partnership. It's a partnership that I'm kind of a part of indirectly because of the grant that we were allotted. It's funding for the department that I work in, so it opens up the doors for us academically, but also from an athletic standpoint. Now you're looking at grad transfers. Well, I know we'll talk about recruiting later, but that's a whole nother realm. And even from the coaching side or administrative help side, getting grads to come in and if they want to learn coaching and get their post grad degree, it's a pretty awesome thing. But as far as excitement around here, the students are saying Voorhees University. We had the first Mr. Voorhees University, Miss Voorhees University. Our 10th president, Dr. Ronnie Hawkins, is the first president of Voorhees University, and I tell people this often. It's not often that African Americans can say they did something 125 years ago and it's still around to this day thriving. And that's what Elizabeth Evelyn Wright did as the first African American woman to start a school, and for it to be, to have transition here in 2022 it's been pretty awesome to be a part of that.
I mean, Coach Jay said it all, man. It's just been great. This transition, this change from Voorhees College to Voorhees University, and what it means even when you're out on the road recruiting to say Voorhees University instead of Voorhees College. It's just different. I can't explain it. It's just different. From my inauguration of our 10th president, Dr. Ronnie Hopkins, our spring homecoming week, along with that inauguration, to really, during Founders Day, to really kind of understand what it meant to change, this big change, to Voorhees University. It's been big for this whole community, for this whole city of Denmark and the surrounding areas. Because although we know who we are at Voorhees, I think it lets others really kind of see us in a different light. They don't see South Carolina State, Claflin, then us. Like we're all on the same level now, because they can't say, well, that's a college and that's a university. We're all universities. And I think that's really big in terms of trying to get kids, students to come to school. Like some students want to go to a university. It's just something about that university feel that they want to go to. And so we're happy to be a part of that. As Jay said, it helps us recruiting wise. Once we get this graduate program up and running, for us to get grad transfers and graduate assistants. So it's a great time here at Voorhees University. Our first times on the road, Jay and I had to kind of get used to saying Voorhees University and not Voorhees College.
Does it require new gear?
It does require. It requires not just new gear. It requires a lot. When you come back on campus, there'll be a lot of different signage that you will see around campus. And Coach Jay has been part of a big thing of how our new rendition of our floor will look, because we got to change that. It's a lot of things going on, but it's an exciting time for us here at Voorhees University.
I love it. New logos, new gear, new floor, and we'll talk about that a little bit later. But I do want to read this quote. I think it was so very important and encapsulates all the excitement that's going on campus. It is from Voorhees University, Office of the President, that tweeted out, "The sky is not the limit, it's just the view. Voorhees University, the next level of excellence." That sounds like a pretty big buzz going on campus to me.
You see it, if you can, on our shirt, the next level of excellence. It's what we're about here at Voorhees University. It's what our 10th president, Dr. Ronnie Hopkins, is about. He doesn't want to remain stagnant. He wants to keep progressing and do new things and open up new avenues around this campus, around this community. It's part of why we've been able to recruit a little bit more nationally too. That's what he wants. So
let's jump into that as we talk about recruiting. Let's talk about the type of players that you guys want to recruit. I'll open up to either of you, James or Coach Huff. Let's talk about the type of players that you want in that program.
Jay, I'll let you go.
Okay. The graphic says it pretty much all. I think when you look at the four, we'll call them pillars of part of our recruiting, not only pitch, but just who we are. I think that what it says is we want recruits that want to become us. We are a small rural community. Family is a word that will pop up whether we are on a visit or just in general. Everybody kind of shares that word around here, but I think the biggest thing is the work ethic, and we're all, it's laid down by Coach Huff. I mean, nobody works harder than him, and then I fall in line, and then our new assistant Zai, he's gonna fall in line, and hopefully the players all see that. But that toughness and that work ethic are probably the two things that you kind of got to bring on your own. We recruit young men that have high academic aptitude. And that's evident by us having, for the second straight semester and going into a third semester, when we tally up this semester of having, a 3.0 or higher, the highest GPA on campus. And then you look at the character piece, our guys are good guys. They're great young men that want to fall in line, but more importantly, they care about how they present themselves. And, just as far as developing young men, we tell every recruit that's coming on a visit or everybody that we talk to, it's not about 4 years or 2 years, however long you spend here at Voorhees, it's about 40. And we want to build character, because those are the things that we do here when school is in from August to May are the things that can carry you for the next, at your new job with your family, if you're going to become a dad or a husband. Those are quality and traits, and again, I can't sing his praises enough, and I'll probably do it on this show a lot. But Coach Huff lays the foundation, and we it's real easy when at the top you look up and he's working just as hard. He's in the mix with you, and he's pushing you. I tell everybody I stopped trying to get here before him in the mornings. I kind of just I get in when I get in, but when the season starts, it's like, hey, I got to get here at the same time as him. And when you have that kind of grind, it reflects on the recruiting trail. People see us out is because he's the person I work with is working just as hard as me. And he's giving me so much latitude and giving me so much in the way of responsibility that you don't want to let him down, but you want to try to beat him. And that kind of competitiveness is permeating through our program from top to bottom. So.
And one of the things I'll add is that, we're now going into year 3, and every year you learn something new. Every year presents a new challenge for you. And I'm one of those people, and James will tell you, I'm very transparent. And, from year 1 to year 2, this time last year, I mean, y'all know we were talking about we wanted the most skilled guys. We still wanted the character guys, still wanted the academics, and wanted that work ethic. And we were talking about we wanted the most skilled guys. But as we moved through this year, we understood what we needed to have because of where we are, the division we're in, and the conference we're in. We had to be tougher. And so that became one of our pitches of how do we get tougher? We've got to recruit tougher kids. And I don't just mean tough on the floor. I mean your mental toughness. Because, we don't lie to anybody and tell them we're in a big city. We don't lie to anybody and say there's a million things that you're going to be able to do once you get down here. But you're going to be able to get your education. You're going to be able to get in the gym. You're going to be able to become a better man. You're going to be able to become a better student. All those things can happen here. And you do have a 30-minute, an hour drive to get some places where you have some things to do. But you got to be mentally tough to understand that you've got to work when you come here, that nothing's going to be given to you. We're HBCU, so you're already maybe behind the 8 ball when we go on the road to play or because of our conference or whatever it is. So you've got to be mentally tough and you've got to be physically tough to handle everything that's going to happen. Because when you get here, day one, you start grinding. We give you a week or two to get ready, and now we're on that track. Now we're in that weight room, and we're getting ready to prepare for the season. And so it's just that mental and physical toughness that we really harped on more after this past season.
I do want to ask about that. I wasn't planning on having this discussion, but since it came up about having mental toughness and being on the road recruiting as a HBCU, one thing, Huff, that I've heard you say an awful lot is to find a way. And there was a discussion on Twitter about I feel like it happens every year about HBCUs and recruiting and we don't have the budget to get out and this and that. And there were a lot of people who actually responded to the tweet and brought you guys up. The tweet was not about Voorhees University. It was not about Coach Huff or Coach Williams. It was just about HBCU basketball and recruiting. And then a wave of people start responding to the tweet saying, oh, well, I see Voorhees everywhere. Voorhees is at every big event. I see Coach Huff everywhere. I see Coach Williams everywhere. If this is such a big problem, how are they able to do it? I just want to put that out there to let's have that discussion and talk about how you guys have been able to find a way and not let any type of stigma or anything stop you from trying to make Voorhees the best university that you could possibly make it.
Can I go?
Go ahead, Coach.
It's simple, Coach Huff. He don't make excuses, and he's not going to accept an excuse. And as the recruiting coordinator, recruiting kind of, that's my area. He'll tell you, be a head coach in your area. I'm the recruiting coordinator. So if there's a kid that need to be seen, if there's and Coach Huff has a lot of connections. Everybody calls him the governor of the gym when he walks in. There's a lot of people that know him, but when we get back here and we're here and we're sitting in our offices, it's hey, we got to go see this player. You just make a way. And I told our new coach, you're gonna get to work early. I mean, when I came here last year, 2 years ago, he put me to work the first day. Like it was no grace periods, no, hey, I'm gonna feel my way around. No, you get to work and you figure out a way, and I don't know any other nice word to put it. We just find a way. But the biggest thing is relationships. And Coach Huff will tell you, like, we establish relationships with the young men that we recruit, and the guys that have told us no, it might sting a little bit because, some guys we really, really, really want, right? But at the end of the day, it's about the relationships. We care more about the kids than we care about our reputation or what we don't have. We don't look at what we don't have. We look at what we're building. Because I think for me, ultimately, I want to be able to tell somebody, hey, we did it. We did it. And I can't explain to you how. I don't know, because all the resources that some people may have, we don't worry about that. And again, it just comes from Coach Huff. Like I know people probably be like I'm riding, but it's like literally there's no excuse because he's going to ask you a question and you got to have an answer. If you don't have an answer, you need to provide, hey, I don't know, but I'm going to get back to you. Because he's going to hold you accountable for what he's asking you to be responsible for. So if I make excuses about, I'm using my own gas or I don't have a hotel, nah, you're going to see us. If there's somebody and they got an event, I'm going to get that email. All right, I'm going. I'm going to be there. we're gonna show up. And now we just added another person to the staff, so that's just another arm where we can reach different places, especially here in South Carolina. So you're gonna expect to see more of us. I don't see it slowing down anytime soon. So
And for me, I think it just comes back. I was blessed to get into this business under Coach Mark Byington at Georgia Southern, and that was, you always take something from people you work for, right? And that was one of his biggest things, was find a way. And so when I went to Alcorn State and our budget was different than what we had at Georgia Southern, I kept that mantra with me, like, we got to find a way how to get it done. And so that's why I'm not going to say easy, but why it's been useful for us here at Voorhees, of just find a way. We're not going to make an excuse about what our recruiting budget is. We're not going to make an excuse about how we're going to get to this event or that event, or how we're going to get to see this kid or that kid, or if a kid tells us no, or can we even get to this kid or that kid. We're not going to make an excuse. We're just going to go after it. We're going to find a way of how to get it done. And whether that means we've got to drive 6 hours to go somewhere to go recruit, we've got to do it. If that means we've got to outwork somebody else for a kid that maybe we should not get, if that's what people want to say, then we're just going to outwork them. And I just think it's about your work ethic. And I don't think we can make excuses as HBCUs about why we can't get out. Because now we can use technology. If you really need to, you can get on a Zoom with a kid, right? And you can film your campus and you can do whatever else you need to do. But we've got to be better as HBCUs and stop using excuses about our budgets and what we can't do. Because there are kids out here that want to go to HBCUs. They want us to recruit them.
And my I'll add this. Twitter has helped me out a whole lot. Like, if you looked at my inbox, I got over 100 messages, and I get on spaces that Coach Payne puts on, him and Chad Hicks and what they do. I jump on those, and I'll say what our needs are. I got over 100 pieces of film in my inbox, which has led us to be able to go reach as far as California. But also that's a part of the university's mandate to be able to expand outside of the South Carolina region and have multiple and different types of graduates. So we were able to expand our geographical region with recruiting, with multiple people from different parts of the country, West Coast, and HBCUs aren't out in California, right? There's no HBCU out in California. So now we're making a presence. Now we're making inroads. Now we're giving access where there may not have been access before. So just being able to use social media, it has been a big thing for us. So again, you find a way. Like Coach said, we just become bridges for what we don't have, and I love it. I love recruiting. That's part of the reason why I wanted to get in college. And Coach Huff allows me the opportunity to do what I love to do. And ever since I seen Blue Chips, I wanted to be a recruiter. I wanted to, even though I can't get bags like that, but I wanted to be out on the road. I love finding that unknown guy. Think about the guy who, McMahon, who founded John Morant. Think about that. You're in a back gym, or CY, how we find Devin Vassell just being in a back gym. Like I enjoy that. I enjoy being on the court where no other coaches are. Everybody else in how it is in McEachern, everybody else in the big gym sitting around. I'm over in courts 4 and 5 where nobody's in there, because you never know, and you just never know. So it's also a labor of love, for me to find a way.
For sure. And we're gonna have to find that young man from California. We're gonna have to find a way to make sure he gets his avocado toast in the morning, and or whatever other specific California foods that he wants. We're gonna have to make sure that he gets it, man. Your sign, so it's no longer a recruiting violation, man. If I bring Coach Huff some water, I'll bring you some avocado so you can make avocado toast in the morning. I don't know how those grow in Denmark, South Carolina. I have grown an avocado tree, by the way, though, before. That's another story for another day. So let's get into this recruiting class, this national recruiting class for 2022. We're going to give some folks a sneak peek into the recruiting class, to the young men that you're bringing in, and then have you guys kind of break down what their game looks like and how you feel like they're going to fit in on this upcoming season. Coaches, I'll ask you: is there any particular order that you want to go in, or do we just want to pop guys up at random?
You just pop them, man. We ready.
Let's start off with this young man, very intriguing prospect. Coaches, tell me about Malachi Scott.
First, just got the opportunity. It was actually during that first live period, man. It was a HBU showcase out in LA, and got a chance to go out there and right off the bat, I saw this young man and I knew he was what we needed. It was no doubt in my mind. I remember texting Coach Jay and say, I think we found one, man. I think I got one. You're talking about a 6'7", long, athletic, relentless motor, rebound guy who plays hard as crap, who really – I think the sky's the limit for him. And Malachi, I think you're going to see some great things from him. He's ready to work. He's already talking about when can he get on campus. So you might have to bring that avocado toast early. But we're just really excited about this young man, a great academic student as well. And we were able to beat out some bigger programs, some D1, D2 programs for him. And he told us point blank, he said, I wanted to go to a family, and I wanted to go to people who believed in me from day one. And that was us.
So, yeah, when I got the film, he'll send me film. So I go look at the film. I'm like, okay, I got to do my research. So I go to his Instagram, to a Twitter page. I'm on Twitter an awful lot. Just what pops off just immediately, Coach said it, is relentless. He is relentless. And you'll notice a theme with all the guys that we have coming in this year. And Coach said it first. It's not even the toughness. It's just the relentless, the ability to never stop and never give up regardless of the obstacle. So I get on the phone. So as soon as he passed me the number, I get on the phone, and he's articulate, well-spoken, affable. Like, he's a great, like, just talking to him over the phone and communicating with him has been a joy. And, you just can't wait to get that kind of young man here on campus. It's the same way with Christian Ford, how he was with us, and Keyshawn Fleet. Like, the two freshmen that we brought in, the guys that we're bringing in, that we brought in last year and brought in this year, it's just being able to communicate with them is on such a high level. And they're great young men. It goes back to that character, but relentless. And he's gonna. We can't wait for practice. There's gonna be some bodies thrown around. We definitely gonna have to have our training bag, rolled into practice, because he definitely doesn't stop. And he knows about bringing that energy every morning when we get in practice. And so it's gonna turn up the intensity, which is what he does. And I would love to see him and Keyshawn in a rebound battle, rebound war battle. That's gonna be some good stuff there, right there. That's gonna be some must-see TV.
Speaking of a young man that I got a chance to know very well, next commit, Keyshawn Evans out of Druid Hills.
Again, it's relationships, man. Like, it probably was early this year. I got a chance to go to his practice and see him play. And I was really intrigued by him then. And I was actually telling other coaches about him because I just didn't know. Like, I was like, I'm going to try, but I don't know. And obviously him being coached by one of my former assistants, Antoine Stroud, and obviously being coached by you, Mundre, and the Georgia Man Up program. We're excited about him, man. He was I'm trying to get all the accolades that I can, because he got a lot of them this year. AJC, the Cab Player of the Year, Regent Player of the Year. I may be missing another one, but he just was dominant this year on the floor. Averaged 20-plus points, over 10 rebounds, and that word comes up again, relentless. Like, he has a relentless motor. And one of the big things that we wanted to find this year was guys who not only had a motor, were relentless, but rebounded the basketball. And when you talk about Keyshawn, that ball just finds him. And that goes back to Malachi too. That ball finds both of those guys. And like, he's a relentless rebounder. And like, when we talked to him, when he came on his visit, you know, we told him he was Jerome Williams. And if our listeners don't know who Jerome Williams is, like the junkyard dog for Georgetown, back with Allen Iverson, that's who he is. Like, you may not, the kid was Region Player of the Year, and how many plays were actually ran for him? You know what I mean? Like, just, all right, this ball has to go to Keyshawn right now. Now, he's going to go make it happen, and he's going to defend, and he's going to play hard as crap. And so we just love what he brings to the team.
I wouldn't even piggyback. Coach Huff did a great job. Another young man who's just his spirit. Like, I talk about his spirit. Like, when he came on his visit, you know, Miss Johnson, our athletic director, spoke to him, and he was blushing. You know, like, he's such an innocent kid, but he clicks when he comes on that floor. Like, it's just something that just turns on. And the junkyard, Jerome Williams was number 26 pick in the draft. A lot of people, you know, he was in the first round, and he didn't. There wasn't. I'm quite sure John Thompson didn't run one play for him, because everything was run for Iverson. But yeah, I'm, like I said, our practices, just the team, the atmosphere in practice elevates when you talk about the last two guys that we just talked about. Because not only will you get embarrassed because they work so hard, but as coaches, we got to make sure we challenge them, that they don't get bored, that they continue to get better. And I think for us, we talk about the final part of our recruiting pitch is developing. It's going to be very interesting developing these guys because of how hungry they are to be better and how much they want to figure out what's the next progression. Because you can't coach playing hard. They already bring that. So now you got to break it down. Now you got to be a little more technical. What can I do to challenge you, to add, you know, not to take away from what you're doing, not to take away from that hunger, but to keep feeding that hunger. So it's going to be I'm excited. You know, I'm excited to put these plans together for them to see what they look like when they come to us in August, and then to see their progression over the next, you know, few years.
For sure. I agree with you guys. Getting a chance to know Keyshawn, I'll say this and get out of the way. You guys summed it up perfectly with the guy that motor does not stop. I think when you guys ask me about him, I say, hey, if you want to get an extra 6-7 possessions a game, then yeah, you should take him because he's going to rebound outside of his area. He's going to get a deflection. He's going to chase down a 50-50 ball. And those plays, you play up enough, it adds up to an additional 5 or 6 possessions, 7 possessions out of a game that maybe you didn't get. And that can change the course of a basketball game for you. And sometimes the difference between winning and losing is just that. It's coming down with a 50-50 ball, is getting on the floor, getting a loose ball, is rebounding the ball outside of your area that you had to beat somebody out to go get. So I'm excited. I love having a guy to play with us as a Voorhees Tiger. So it's amazing. Next up, let's go. I want to go to another young guy that I actually know.
Josh Menzie. Again, you talk about relationships. A young man who played high school ball, not far down the road, about an hour in Augusta at Evans. And if you remember Evans a year ago, they were really good. They played in Lemon Street Classic at Marietta, and that's why I really got a chance to see him play. And I was very intrigued by him. And we all know how this recruiting thing goes. That sometimes you're like, that's not the position we need. So he ends up going to TD Prep. And if anybody knows Damon Stevens, Damon and I go way back from our time at St. Francis, and we just got on the guy. And Damon kept saying, man, Coach, he's a dog. He's a dog. You need to come see him. And once we finally did, it was a no-brainer for us. Like, he is the ultimate leader, the ultimate dog defensively, that's going to make everybody else around him better. And for us, as a point guard, that's what we want. That's what we need. And we're excited to get him. Like, we saw him in one of probably his last, if not his last, one of his last prep school games. And we saw this exact same thing we have been seeing all year. And then he's another kid that has a personality. And it is great. He came down our visitation day and he met people and he was excited about being. He was ready right there. Like, Coach, I just going to stay right here right now. You know, we're excited about grabbing him and having what he's going to bring to the table as well.
I'll keep it brief. I got a chance to see him in South Carolina at a tournament, and the guy that comes to mind is West Virginia's Javon Carter when he was at West Virginia. If you remember Javon Carter, like defensively, vocally, like his, which allowed him to be in the NBA. He plays kind of a different role now than he did in college, but very, very similar. Very, very similar. The length, you'll notice about him and Amari, their length. They're lengthy. They're not tall in stature, but they have long limbs, which allows them to be a little bit more aggressive on defense. His anticipation defensively is good. Like he took like maybe 4 charges that whole tournament that I got to watch him because I seen him a couple times. Once Huff sent me, his information. But again, it's the call for me. It's always the call after Coach Huff says, "Hey, this is a kid that we want to look at." So when I call, I'm very intrigued by who I'm going to talk to, whether he's talked to him first or not. And again, the fact that we talked and just he was like super excited, about being here. And that's one thing I don't think we said. Yeah, is we want guys who want to be here. You know what I'm saying? Like we want guys that want to be here at Voorhees, regardless of what we have, regardless of what it looks like. We enjoy the guys that want to be here. Oh man, it's such a joy communicating with them because it's infectious. It fuels us. It pushes us. Because again, my work doesn't stop when they commit. My work starts actually because now I got to formulate plans to keep them engaged. So that's always the thing. Getting them committed is the easy part. Is developing them. That becomes the tough part. All the things that we're saying, the goal is that when you guys watch them play, you like, okay, now that makes sense. Now I know why they went and got them. Because again, my goal is to push them. My goal is to push them to their next level of excellence, in that regard. And he's one of those guys that is hungry, to be here and get started. If we could have camp in June, they would be here.
Yeah.
They would be here.
Guys, I gotta ask a question. Just as we got a couple more signees to talk about, but I do have to ask this kind of behind the curtain question. I like to toss a surprise out every now and then. Huff knows that. With this new crop of kids, will we see any changes in style of play or philosophy with how we play? Or are these guys going to plug right into what you guys love to do?
No. If anything, you'll see more intensity on defense. Like, you're probably going to see more intensity and intentionality to what we really, really want to do defensively, especially at the top, the guard spot. You're probably going to see a lot less drives. You're probably going to see a lot more block shots. And you'll definitely see us control the glass a lot more. I'm putting my career on that. I'll put that on here right now. Like, Coach Huff is, a master at knowing how to call plays. The style of guys that we got, all of them fit whatever we want to do. But what you're probably going to see differently, and it's going to be notated in numbers, is defensively. That's where we ultimately are going to be extremely better at. And I'll put my career on that.
And that's where we wanted to get better at. That's where we thought we took a step back from the first year to the second year, was defensively, controlling the glass, middle drives. And so it hurt us. So you talk about how defense leads to offense. So when you can't control a rebound and you can't get stops, you can't get more possessions, right? You can't get more points per possession. we can't get to the number that we want to play or the pace that we want to play at because we're not getting stops. And so that was a big thing for us too, was finding it. To me, it just goes back to toughness. We want to be able to dictate everything that other team does. And I know somebody can use it as bulletin board material, but it's what we want to do, is dictate all the way around, offensively and defensively. And we weren't able to dictate last year defensively, and we wanted to change that.
Awesome. We can't wait to watch it. I love talking about defense. I love watching great defense. All of my favorite college basketball teams were great defensive teams. So I can't, Huff will tell you how many times I've had conversations with him about, hey, we played amazing defense for 24 seconds, and then we could not finish the possession. And before I finish my sentence, he says, with a rebound. We had a lot of those conversations. So I cannot wait. I am looking forward to it. Hey, everybody. We see everybody in the chat. How's everybody doing? Thank you guys for joining. My guy Tim Kaine was in here earlier, man. That guy's the best.
That's my guy, man. I've learned so much from him.
He's the best, man. Cool breeze. I think that's what I'm gonna have to start calling him when I'm in the gym.
That's a good nickname.
Yeah.
Strolls in, not caring the world. At least that's what it seems like. Good luck, Tim, over there. Let's go. Next up.
I know you were gonna do this one.
I heard a lot about this guy.
I'm just gonna say it. Best shooter in South Carolina.
Best shooter in South Carolina.
And so the backstory, and I think I've told this story, is I get this call, and we've talked about this saying, you got to put it on the line. I'm just going to say put it on the line when you talk about recruit. So James calls me. He says, Coach, I'll put it on the line for him. He's my Adam Flagler. I said, for real? I said, okay. So we go to this event in Rock Hill, and unfortunately, a lot of times we go to events and people just start talking. And so he's playing a game, and I miss his, I don't get to really lock in to see him because this guy's just talking to me, just talking. And James is, he's upset. He feels like, man, because he knows how I am. If you don't play well, I move on. And so James is upset. So we get to kind of the preseason, and I did watch him some more. I'm like, okay, I need to see him again. So James sets it up when we go watch him at his high school in the workout period in September. And kid just was knockdown shooter, great personality, great family. And he was actually our first commit this season back in the fall. So it was great to just have to go to his games and watch how he played and see how he did. And he had a great season. His team had a great season. And we're excited to have him. I know James is going to say a lot more. So I'll turn it over to James.
Well, Coach Huff got the story a little backwards. So Adam Flagler didn't happen until I went and seen him twice at his high school before Coach Huff got out, because, just matching Coach Huff's schedule, seeing people. He hit 7 threes that game. He hit 7. So he was scoring and shooting, but the dude was steady talking. So, yeah, I was a little upset because it's like I can like a kid, but if Coach Huff see him and they don't have a good game, now I gotta go back and be like, okay, we gotta see him again at 5:30. It was early. It's a 9:30 game. See him at 5:30. He usually warm up then. But no, he had been on my radar since May, because he played in a couple big shots. And, of course, I follow Twitter, so you kind of look and see who's the MVP. I like that Big Shots does like the MVP, and his name kept popping up. So I was like, okay, let me get a chance to see this, and every time it pop up, it'll say how many threes he hit. And I know Coach Huff puts a big premium on shooting. So got a chance. So Coach Huff missed that opportunity. So, yeah, we get into the recruiting period in September. So I go watch him twice. I just wanted to make sure, and when Coach Huff asked you the question, hey, do you put it on the line? I said yes, and then Coach Huff went and seen him. But before I remember, Madre, I called you and I told you. I called you and told you. Because in his workout, he didn't miss 2 in a row. He didn't miss 2 in a row. And come to find out, after having conversations with his father, he makes adjustments. And he has such a high basketball IQ. He makes adjustments on his shot. So as I'm watching him shoot, I was asking him questions. He was like, "Yeah, my elbow went in on that one. Next one, pop. So he'll go and make a couple more off the bounce, 1 drill pull-ups, catch and shoot." And he wasn't missing. And that's when I went out into the parking lot, Audrey, and I called you and I called up. I said, "This is my Adam Flagler. Like this, he has that ability to where every time and when I watch Flagler shoot for Baylor, I think it's gonna go in every time." And that's what it is with Amari. You think it's gonna, even if he misses, you think it's gonna go in every time. And I just couldn't pass up on that, a young man who can shoot like that. And there were some other schools that were around, but I showed up. Again, it's one of those things where I'll pop up. He's got a signing day, I'm gonna pop up. I'm always gonna be there because you listen to Coach Huff's stories and he talks about Flagler. That's how I would want to talk about this kid. And just a great family, great young man. He's a presidential scholar. Had a 4.0 GPA. Again, this goes back to the aptitude and quality. So the campus is expecting him to come here and be a leader. So he'll be one of those kids, not overly vocal, but he's gonna put in the work, and he works. He works. Like part of the reason why he shoots so well is he has that Steph Curry, Clay mentality of he gets up shots. He gets them up, and he works on his shooting. And so, yeah, I'm super excited about having, just kind of went through the process of recruiting him. It goes back to that love thing. You find somebody, and you work them, and you watch them, and you don't critique to find mistakes, but you critique to say, hey, if Coach Huff calls this play, and this kid comes off that screen, oh my gosh, it's knocked down. So. It's one of those situations.
I love that. Huff, how long before he gets the green light? I watched Flag play. Flag had a green light.
He definitely had a green light. So if he comes in practice and he's knocking them down, he's got the green light.
Hey, Coach, I don't know. I think you probably did see it, Coach Williams, but Flag had like the neon green, like the Krispy Kreme light.
It was
the flashing light.
Flag. There was only 3 guys in my whole coaching career that could come down and trend. Like in the NBA now, you see guys, well, they 20% 3-point shoot. They come down and transition, jacking the 3. Now, there's only been 3 guys that I've coached that could come down and transition and shoot that 3 off. Flag was one of them, Malik Beasley and Kobe Simmons.
And me. And me. But I don't play defense, James. So y'all.
I got you. Situational. Offense.
Yeah.
Offense, defense.
Inbounds play. Send me that elevator. We'll get to the corner. We're gonna knock that down. We've got one more.
Amari Floyd. So here's the crazy part. We're gonna have 3 Amaris on our team. So we got to figure this thing out next year. But Amari Floyd, he's from Carver, Atlanta, high school with one of my Morehouse brothers. Again, relationships. One of my Morehouse brothers, Coach Dada. And Coach Dada kept telling me about him. Like he was telling me about him last year at June in the team camp. And he was like, Huff, man, just watch him. I know our team may not be what we want, but just watch him. And I kept watching and I kept saying, man, this kid keeps developing. He keeps getting better. Then I watched him doing Thanksgiving in a tournament. I was just saying, man, he's getting longer. He's getting more athletic. And again, we talk about somebody that can shoot it, but then he has that athleticism that he'll turn it over on you. And so he was a kid. Now, you always do recruiting different ways with different kids sometimes. And so I called 2 people I knew who he played against. So I called Sandy Creek. And if you know anything about Sandy Creek, they have multiple Division I players. So when I called Coach Nick at Sandy Creek, I said, who's the best player y'all played against? And he was the first person he mentioned. He said whether it was Jabari last year whoever they had this year, he gave them buckets. So you're talking about a guy who for the last 2 years averaged 20-plus points, 7-some-odd rebounds a game. Playing the competition at Carver, and then I called, my guy, Coach Courtney Brooks at Whitfield, who used to coach, at Southwest Atlanta Christian, and he said the same thing. He said it's a no-brainer. And so Amari's been a no-brainer for us. Him and Josh were actually on the same visit together for visitation day. And he's a guy that's going to really – it's not just going to be about basketball for him, although we love him for basketball, but I guarantee he's probably going to be a guy – like we had National Day of Prayer for us, and our choir was out there leading it, and our students, I guarantee he's going to be part of our choir. I guarantee it. Because he plays instruments. He's going to be that involved in our community. We love him for that.
Quiet storm.
Yeah.
Quiet storm. Unassuming, just like his high school basketball career. But when you pull back the curtain and you look and you get him on the floor, you get him into what his element is, he's very loud. And he's got a determination about him that's not beat your chest, rah, Patrick Beverly type stuff. He's just going to quietly kill you. And then you be like, man, I got all these bruises and nicks on me. Like, man, I got holes. How do you do it? And I'm excited. And I think Coach said something about his length and shooting. At this level, in the conference that we play in, the teams that Coach Huff has on the schedule, when you can dribble, drive, penetrate, and kick to a wing guy because teams are trying to protect the paint so much, and you can kick it out to guys who can utilize a pump fake, one dribble and at the rim, or utilize a pump fake sidestep and be solid in their form and make shots. Again, you asked us, are we going to change our style? No, we're just adding bullets to the gun that was already big. Now we're just adding the right size bullets to the gun. So now, we shooting 50 cals, because of the young people that we're bringing in, as well as developing the guys that we have here. This was the first year that we got a chance to work with our guys on campus, during the spring portion of our semester. So you add that to what we're bringing in, guys who are already determined, relentless, who have a tough mindset. Again, we're just trying to Coach Huff already brought the big gun. Now we're just adding the right size bullets to that particular gun. So when he does fire off a player, whenever we're talking about defense, we're matching. And I think that's what year 3 of recruiting has been for us. For us to be able to find the guys that look like us. And you know how big Coach Huff is. We're finding guys who look like us.
Good stuff.
And we're not done. We just that is the high school portion of our class.
Yeah.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
More to follow.
But we're excited. I mean, we think these 5 guys are really special. I mean, and we told them that. We told them along with what we have coming back and what we hope to add on, we can do some special things, some really special things.
So guys, now that we got these guys committed and signed, what happens between now and the time that they actually are able to step on campus?
Okay. So yeah, I'm actually working on that now. So Monday, I'm kind of waiting until graduation's over with. We're gonna send out there. We'll probably do 5-week increments to cut down the time between now and August 12th. That's move-in day, right, Coach?
August 6th for them.
Sorry, August 6th. So Miss Bryson, Amari mom, I seen her name. So August 6th, we got to send her information. But the guys are excited about being on campus. So between now and August 6th, we'll send them 5-week workouts. And so what we're going to do a little differently this year is we're going to specialize. So we have some guys that, like I said, I got a chance to work with the guys in the spring. We want to take that and we want to add to what they did in the spring. And we want to also put a little specialization on it. So everybody's not necessarily going to get the same plan. I'm not going to send guards the guard plan. I'm going to personalize it to make sure that guys are progressing at the pace in which we want them to be. Because there's going to be some new roles. All of it's not going to be physical. Some of it's going to be mental. We lose Taiwan Bowie, who's pretty much an emotional leader for us and on the floor. So we lose 18 points a game. So who's going to step into that role? Well, I think for that to happen, for some guys, they got to do things differently than they did their junior year, because we will have more seniors than we had this year. Our freshmen, for them to be able to see the floor as sophomores, there's some things that they got to do a little differently. And so we're able to work with them to be able to specialize. We'll have a strength and conditioning portion that our new strength and conditioning coach has helped me with. And so we're going to add that piece, which we did last year, but it's going to be a little more specific to what stuff that they were already doing here in the spring with us. And for the guys who are already at home, again, just being able to be a little bit more specialized with what we need for them to do, so that they know what we're looking at when they come back. And that's something that we didn't do last year. Like you just didn't know. Now we know. Now we say, hey, Christian Ford, this is what we want you to do. This is what you're going to need to do on top of the work that you're already putting in. This is where you got to progress to be a sophomore. Keyshawn Fleeton, this is what you got to do to progress as a sophomore. Amari, Fred, on down the line. So that's the plan. And I'm kind of spearheading that. Coach Huff approve and make adjustments wherever needed. But just trying to make it more strategic than just a generic plan.
Awesome. It sounds like an action-packed summer. We can't wait to get those guys on campus. Now that we're talking about the summer, Coach, you've had a lot of success with the Denmark Summer Explosion. Coach, a lot of teams were very successful who attended last year. Tell us a little bit about this year's event.
Man, we had 2 state champions, Grovetown and Cross Creek. We had, Woodville Tompkins, who went to the Final Four. And I'm missing one other, slipping my mind. It'll come to me. And we had one other team go to the Final Four. But we're excited about this year. We've already got teams locked in, ready to come. We've got those 3 teams coming back. Woodville Tompkins, Cross Creek, and Grovetown. We've got Greenbrier that's coming. We've got Savannah Country Day. My guy Demetrius Smith from his days up in Atlanta at Pace is coming. Obviously, we got Denmark Ola. If you weren't here last year, that Denmark Ola East Coweta game was probably one of the best games of the summer, no matter where you went. So get them coming back. Got Fox Creek out of South Carolina coming back. Got Charleston out of South Carolina coming. We even got a team for Tennessee, Clarksville out of Tennessee that's coming. Johnson, Savannah, Groves out of Savannah area. Battery Creek out of South Carolina. And we've got 2 newcomers to our camp. Athens Academy under the new direction of Coach Hilbert, who's longtime coach in the Georgia area, at Elbert County and up in the Cherokee County area. And then we've got Henry County. I know Keyshawn Evans, our new recruit, knows a lot about Henry County. Unfortunately, that was a team that put them out in the Elite 8 to get to the Final Four, but got them coming to camp. So we're excited. We've got a few spots left. So for anybody listening that wants to get their team involved, hit up Coach Jay and myself via email, and we can get you involved. But it's 3 guaranteed shot clock games. All your games on the college campus, whether here or at Denmark Tech. So you're guaranteed. Now, here's a great part. Like, you're not going to be in a back gym somewhere where nobody's seeing you play because it's their auxiliary gym or it's their recreational center. You're on the main court, whether at Voorhees or Denmark Tech. And which means you're going to be seen by the staffs of those 2 places, as well as we invite other people to come. We invite other college coaches to come, and we had some come last year. And then we also have On the Radar Hoops, the national evaluator. He's going to be here. Keith Argan is going to be here just like he was last year. We're hoping Mondre and Love of the Game pulls up just like last year. We hope Alfonso and Baseline pulls up. But I'm sure you're going to get exposure. And if we really would have a kid got exposure from our event last year, all you got to do is look at some of these commits that we saw from some of the teams that play here, or some guys who are now, 2023 kids who are really growing up. And that's really what we're trying to do. A relatively cheap option. If you want to look at other summer camps, a cheap option that does inexpensive. That's a better way to say it. Using that English major from Morehouse College to come out. An inexpensive option for team camp and to get your guys some competitive games with a shot clock. Georgia already has a shot clock. It's going to be mandatory next year. South Carolina has implemented the shot clock. So these games are really going to be huge for every team that's playing in our event. And I just like the camaraderie of it, just to get to meet some of the high school players and the high school teams that's here. Yeah, I don't know if you want to have anything you want to add on that.
I would just say also for as far as exposure, it's an opportunity for 2023s and 2024s that would catch an eye to be able to invite it to our select camp and elite camp. So that'll be an opportunity for us to evaluate them even further. If we see somebody we like, or like we said, the invitation is out for other coaches throughout the state to be able to come and find talent. So,
and as we talk about this recruiting thing, parents and players always understand that where you're playing, whether it's in AAU, a team camp at a college, all it takes is for that college coach to call somebody else, because we have buddies. And we know if a guy, we may recruit him, but we know in my mind, like, this kid's way better than us. And all we got to do is make a call and say, you need to be on this kid. And so to me, that's part of what college team camps are about. And I know we have the high school team camps in all the states now. And I know those are big, but the opportunity to go to a college and play is still something that I know as a former high school coach, just like James, is something that you really wanted to do. And I think it's big for Denmark. Like it gives them an opportunity to see our campus, to see what we're about, to see that new scoreboard. Because last year it wasn't up when they came.
No.
To see the scoreboard, that we have in little old Denmark, South Carolina, to see what we have to offer here. So it's a great opportunity.
For sure. Speaking about opportunities, before we close, we got a great opportunity with the Voorhees Tiger Athletic Club, the V Club, the next level of excellence.
As we open this thing back up, man, we're just excited to really kind of relaunch this. We launched it last year, and then COVID kind of spiked. And so now we're in the relaunch period of our V Club, and you're going to hear a lot more information next week about it. But we're excited about where we're going. We've done a lot of things on this campus to help athletics, whether it's been the new track, whether it's been our new scoreboards. Both our weight rooms have been totally retrofitted, brand new. We're talking about we've done some new things with the baseball and softball fields, with their kind of like their locker room situation down there, as well as with their scoreboards on both the baseball and softball field. So now there are things that have to be done. And if you know anything about athletics, it takes money. And it's not just about the tuition that we're getting. It's not just about, can we get some money from guarantee games, whether you're softball or baseball or men and women's basketball or track and field or cross country, because all our sports here are very competitive and win, right? But we've got to do some other things. Like we're talking about what our new court is going to look like when our guys come in. But now it's time to take it to the next level of excellence. And part of the V Club is helping this institution, this university, take it to the next level of excellence so we can retrofit our new locker rooms. So we can do other things that we want to do athletically for our athletic teams, from cheerleading to softball to baseball to men and women's basketball to cross country to track and field. So we can do all those things to help all our programs. So you're going to see a lot of information. We're going to have a social media blast day. We're going to have an email blast day to all our alumni. And whether it's $20 or $20,000, any little bit helps, to be honest with you.
100%. definitely join. We'll have more information for you here on Love of the Game as well, to make sure you're a part of the B Club. Coach, we had some recent graduates
Yeah.
from Voorhees University. I want to make sure that we shout those guys out before we get out of here.
Hey, man, not yet. That's going to happen Saturday. So in about 48 hours, man, we're just excited for 3 of our guys to graduate. And I didn't want to let this opportunity pass without us not recognizing them. Number one, obviously, senior Taiwan Bowie, heart and soul of our team this year, who's graduating. And if there's a program out there who he's looking for a grad transfer year, he wants to give him one more year. And he's a smart guy. 3.7, 3.8 GPA. He's graduating. So hats off to Taiwan Bowie. But also 2 of our guys last year. We came in and you take over a program and you have guys who in their senior year and you try to make sure you do what's right by them. But to get Staten Levine and Willie Ferguson, who are a big part of our conference, the previous year, to have those 2 guys be able to walk across that stage is huge as well. So to have 3 guys graduate, as Coach Jay and I say, it's not just about what you can do for us on that basketball court. It's about graduating. How you're going to become a man for the next 40 years. So extremely proud of those 3 guys, Taiwan Bowie, Staten Levine, and Willie Ferguson.
Awesome. Congratulations to all those guys. I definitely enjoyed watching you play. Stat, best wishes to you. He's one of my favorite players.
He was, dude. Everybody loves that.
Yeah. So congratulations to all the Voorhees Tigers on graduation day. I hope everybody enjoys it.
Let me say this one thing. Like, we don't win that conference championship. Stats semifinals game may have been one of the best games I've seen a young man have. Like, he dominated that game. But people also don't realize how important, like, Willie didn't get a lot of credits for how many points he scored, but he was a reason why his man wasn't getting a rebound. Like, him blocking out. And we missed him in Taiwan Bowie in the national tournament. We were in the midst of COVID, and they tested positive. So you got to imagine you're missing your all-conference guard, your starting 2 guard, and your starting center. And I don't say woulda, shoulda, coulda, but I will say if we had those 2, I would like to see how that game would have been played.
For sure.
Hey, I don't know. Madre, I got a question for you. You probably gonna exit with this right here. When the podcast coming back? Somebody told me that.
There'll be some. There'll be some internal discussions and some team meetings that take place. We'll get Locke signed to a new contract extension.
And the problem is you're gonna have enough money to sign Bryce. That's gonna be the problem.
No, we don't. We didn't have enough money to sign Bryce before Locke's contract negotiations started. So Bryce wants new rims for the range and like all kinds of other accommodations that I don't know if we can afford. But no, I do appreciate the love and the outpouring. Asking about the podcast. We all want to do it. Learning to do it during COVID was a difficult transition, and then probably a tougher transition than we all thought of how we transitioned back to being together in studio. But we'll figure it out. I'm confident. Everybody wants to do it. There's no beef. The Fat Boys are not breaking up. We hang out at games. We sit behind each other's bench while we coach at AAU. So there's no beef at all. We still in the group chat. We all want to do it. We just have to figure out, how we transition back. So
got you. Appreciate that.
Everybody, we appreciate you guys. Thanks for coming. to all the newest signees and committee members, I can't wait to watch you on the floor. I will be loud, but there are fans now, so like you probably won't hear. Well, you may still hear me a lot, but you may not hear me as much. Just I'm animated, I'm loud, I love the game, I love cheering you guys on. So every time you're one-on-one, I'm probably gonna be yelling, "Shoot that! That's good." And whether Huff wants me to be yelling that or not, I probably will yell it. I'm a fan. I'm not a coach anymore. When I'm on that sideline, I'm a fan. So yeah, my bad, Huff. I told him to take that shot.
Oh, can I add this one thing, Mondre?
Yeah.
One last thing. If we are recruiting you currently, commit to the V. I just wanted to put that out there.
I love it.
They know who they are. They know who they are. They probably are watching right now. Just go ahead and commit.
You want to commit because you want me, because I'm going to tell Amari Bryson to shoot it every time. And you want to commit because you want me yelling at you to shoot it every time. I'm the fan that when you're sitting on the bench, I'm going to be yelling, put such and such in the game. Put him in. Like, hey, man, I'm a fan. Huff understands that I'm not coach anymore. I'm not the host of a TV show anymore. I'm just a fan that wants to see you get in the game and shoot from the volleyball line. I mean,
I will leave with this. It'll be very interesting in Marietta next year. Oh, I just dropped a bomb.
It will be. I'm going to get out of here before I get in trouble. Guys, love you. Appreciate you guys for joining. Thank you, everyone. We'll be back soon. Good night.
Peace.